Yeah.
Oh, I drink black coffee.
Ooh, he loves black.
Let's be best friends.
Hello, I'm Cole Sauer, and welcome to Let's Be Best Friends, a podcast where I talk to people that I barely know and try and get them to be my new best friends, because in times like these, who needs enemies? My guest today is an absolutely wonderful comedian who's getting ready for the release of his comedy album, Capricornication, Brandon Ash-Mohammed. How you doing today?
Hi, what's up? How are we? I just changed my look for you.
I was saying, I
feel like
noticed
my afro was a little lopsided.
in my peripheral, I saw the hood going up, and I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Just like, I feel like Shania Twain in that, like, from this moment. And I'm just like, ooh, what are you drinking? What's that?
Oh, this is just my water bottle. I just keep it big and thick because I have a lot of equipment here at all times.
He keeps it big and thick. He likes it big, thick, and...
I like big and thick. That's me.
Big, thick.
So
I got a vanilla pod.
Ooh. You just keep that around with you?
I just well, it was like in this bag of stuff that I had, and I forgot to put it downstairs in the kitchen. And I just keep it near me, like when I'm stressed, I'll just be like, ooh,
that's actually such a good idea.
Yeah.
I used to have candles around, but I haven't ever since quarantine. I ran out of candles, and now I just stay stressed.
Oh, you gotta go to Winners Marshalls.
I do. So here on the show, so Larry King used to always say that there's 5 questions I got to ask in every interview: who, what, where, when, and why. Because I'm not a good interviewer, I like getting them out of the way right at the beginning. So let's start at the basics. Who are you, Brandon Ash-Mohammed? Tell me a bit about yourself.
So I am Brandon Ash-Mohammed. I am a comedian here in Toronto. I've been doing stand-up for almost 10 years. I've done a bunch of crazy shit. I'm really bad. I'm also really bad at talking about myself and like saying nice things about myself. I don't know. You describe me. It's your show. You describe me. Who am I? Who am I to you?
Okay. So
I'm going to be Oprah because Oprah always takes over all of her interviews. So that's what I'm going to do to you. Who am I?
That's perfect. To me, here's the thing: is that we've met a few times now. I've seen you perform. We've been on a few shows together, but I feel like we haven't talked that much. So you say you've done a bunch of crazy shit. So tell me. So we know that you're a comedian. So tell me how you got to comedy.
Okay, so it was during high school. I knew I wanted to do something in the arts, and I was like, I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna go to act. I like Mean Girls, so I'm gonna go to. I like Mean Girls, so I'm going to go to acting school. I'm going to go to York University acting program because Rachel McAdams went there, and I like Mean Girls. Connections. And then I was just like, and then I was reading like a college pamphlet, and I saw they had a comedy program, and I was like, oh, I'm funny. Everyone always says I'm so funny. Maybe I should go do this program. So I looked it up, and I saw like all these people from like Video on Trial went there, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to go and do that. And then, that was 2010.
Okay.
And then I graduated 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Then did comedy for like a year after that, and then had like essentially what I call like a Mariah Carey glitter TRL breakdown. And I stopped doing comedy for 3 years, then started again in 2016. And from then I did a bunch of stuff. I created Canada's first and only comedy show that only showcases queer people of color, queer and trans people of color. What else? I wrote on the CBC show Tall Boys.
Oh, cool.
I've won some awards.
Cash, award-winning comedian.
Yeah.
Started all these incredibly influential things. No big deal.
I'm currently the only gay black stand-up comedian in Canada for some reason. Yeah,
that's
for
wild.
Some reason.
That's a crazy stat.
That's me.
Okay. Well, I mean, so in that 3-year period, did you do anything specifically, or were you just trying to like work?
I was going to go back to school. I was like upgrading some classes. I planned on going to school to be like a pharmacist or something, because that was always like my secret fantasy. That still is kind of my secret fantasy, but like
pharmacy,
like being a pharmacist. Maybe that'll be my sitcom. It'll be like me as a pharmacist. Like,
ooh, there you go. That's your.
You want this? You want these pills? Touch all these pills.
The funny, sassy pharmacist.
Yeah. Like, girl, you can't be mixing those medications.
I'd watch it.
No, one of my dreams, I was supposed to turn this to a joke, but one of my dreams was just like, because they need Black people on certain CBC shows.
Mhm.
Well, they need Black people on CBC, period.
Yeah.
But they just make me like Murdoch's new assistant or something. And just like the only thing, like anytime he'll say anything, he'll be like, I think it was this person. I'm just like, And then after he solves the case, I'll just be like, I told you. That's just like my whole thing. That's the whole thing my character does.
I love the idea of you being like, of you just being like this, like sassy Watson to Murdoch.
I'm just like, I told you.
I
told you, Murdoch.
So tell me, where was your first show? So you went to school for comedy. Did you do your first show like with the school or?
So Humber Works has a relationship with Yuck Yucks.
Okay.
So all of the stand-up that you do through Humber is at Yuck Yucks usually. Okay. So my first like official set was at Yuck Yucks on Tuesday, on the Tuesday Humber nights that they have.
That's like the Pro-Am nights or whatever, right?
So they have that show after that, but before that it's a Humber exclusive, and only people that have went to Humber or are going to Humber currently can perform on that show.
Okay. So how did that go? What was your first show experience?
It was fun. I invited some friends. I remember I had this song called PHAT. And so I did stand up, and then I did this little rap called PHAT. What was it? I think I remember it a little bit. What was it? I got diamonds on my pussy. I got rubies on my clit. When niggas see me, I'm the number one bitch. I got one left, one right. No need to organize them, cause I feel my cup. No need to supersize them, cause I'm PHAT. Pretty hot and motherfucking tempting, baby. And then PHAT. Yeah, you know me. And then I do like a back bend. It was very crazy. People loved it. Loved
great.
it.
I think
people.
Anytime you're doing your first show, if you can put something like that in it, I think it hooks people like immediately.
Yeah. And there was people liked it kind of, but I remember getting it was Mark Hallworth. I was like so proud of Mark Hallworth. Was just like, you might want to put the mic closer to your face next time. I was just like, ouch, I was devastated.
I love him though. He's such a nice dude.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's true. He's the kind of guy who, if he tells you something, like, if he like tries to criticize you, he's still smiling. So you're kind of like, it almost hits harder.
It hits harder. You're just like, Dad. You just like Dad.
Dad. Okay, so you said you took a break for 3 years. So for when I want to talk about when you first started back. What kind of was driving you to start back in comedy?
So essentially I had all of this anxiety, and I had just gotten out of this like very like crazy kind of like abusive relationship. Mm-hmm. And I started taking, it was literally the same week that I got broken up with, I started taking improv for anxiety at Second City, because I was thinking of maybe going back. And at that point I just realized that I had nothing to lose. I was at like essentially my rock bottom. I was just like, nothing can get worse for me than here. And then at the same time, I was watching all of this comedy. I was going to shows with my friend Hodo, and I would see this guy, and I would see him everywhere, and he was so bad, so bad. And I was just like, if he can do it, like I was so scared that I would be the worst person on all of these shows.
Right. So
that's why I was scared to come back. And then when I saw that, I was just like, no, I'm just as good as this person. Like, I'm fine. Like, it's fine. Just start putting your baby steps. And yeah, I realized I had nothing to lose. I remember I wanted to be like a vet or a pharmacist. And then I looked up it's just as hard, essentially just as hard to do all of these things as be a comedian. And at least if I choose to be a comedian, I would do something that I actually truly wanted to do. So yeah, that's why I guess I came back. I had unfinished business.
Yeah, I was going to say you're like the hitman of comedy.
It was like Kill Bill. I was just like, you guys remember me? And that's what happened. That's what happened. All of those people a lot of people were really horrible to me which is also one of the reasons why I left. So when I came back, and I outshined them all. Sorry.
You're like, someday you're going to put out your album, and then as soon as shows start back up after quarantine, you're going to come back with like an eye patch and a yellow jumpsuit. You're going to come back to Comedy Bar with a katana.
It's me, Black Mamba, the literal Black Mamba. Well, that would make me a snake if it was literally, but whatever.
So I guess so for why is a really nebulous question. So I like to kind of like boil it down a little bit more. So why do you think it's so important to have shows? You said that you started running the first show that showcases exclusively POC queer comedy. Why do you think it's so important to have these spaces in comedy where people have that specificity? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I just feel that is important for in all forms of entertainment, because historically entertainment has been actively used to oppress people of different cultures, different minority groups, and shit like that. So for so long there wasn't any spaces like that for people like me, and so people like that didn't feel like they were part of the question. They didn't see themselves reflected, and that leads to like a lot of like bad things. Like when you grow up and you don't see yourself reflected in things, you try to change yourself because you think that is the normal, that you need to aspire to be this idea of whatever. So I think it's really important to create these shows and have these spaces for people so they can see themselves reflected and have somebody that can speak to their experience, because they have not been able to have that for so long.
Wow, it's such a, I think it's a great thing, obviously, but it's such a kind of like a weight to put on yourself. Yeah. To kind of champion that whole, you're basically putting a scene on your back in terms of the.
Well, there's this little thing that I'm doing is nothing compared to the people that have sacrificed that I don't even know, so that I could even get this far. So that's how I see it. I'm just like, if they can do it and they've done all this shit, people have lost their lives for this shit, I can do this little show and try to do some stuff.
Yeah. So you see it almost kind of like giving back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
just creating opportunities for people. Yeah.
I think that's like the most noble thing you can do.
I guess.
So for Let's Be Best Friends, as you know, and as some of the people at home know, we like to do something while we talk, because I think it's the best way to get people comfortable. I always ask the guests what they want to do, and you said you wanted to watch an episode of Sailor Moon, which I'm so down for.
Yeah.
Why Sailor Moon in particular?
Sailor Moon was my favorite favorite television show for so long. It was such an amazing show. I can go on and on about things I say. It just like influenced my life so much. And I don't know, I guess it was like there was like this fantasy aspect of it that I liked so much. But I don't know, I just really loved the show. I feel like not a lot of people, like queer people especially, there's some queer people that I've met who never watched Sailor Moon, and I'm just like, what? How could you not watch the show? The show's so good.
I was about to say, I feel like it's almost like a queer rite of passage.
And people don't know that it was like voice, like this version, the North American version was all done in Canada. Like the voices and stuff like that. I remember I had a teacher who told me a story about because they had to like re-edit everything but he talked about how there was in one episode where a wind flies up and the skirt goes up and all you see is a child's vagina or something. And I was just like, what did this show used to be? What did this show used to be? But I find the North American version of this show so funny because like how they tried to just like water down everything, where they're just like, oh, these people that were lesbians are actually just our cousins.
I was about to say, I was wondering if you knew about that.
Yeah, and it just made it look very incestual. It just made it way worse than it was supposed to be.
Because they're still clearly gay, but now it's like they're gay and also related.
And making out with each other. I'm just like, what?
It's like,
but then I'm sad because they never. I remember in grade 6 there was this girl and she had this anime magazine, and she came to school and she was just like, "Did you guys hear? They're not releasing the rest of Sailor Moon." And we're like, "Why?" And they're like, "Because it has trans characters in it in the later seasons, and gay characters, so they don't feel like it's suitable for North American for us, so they are canceling it." So that's how Sailor Moon ended in North America. Was the last seasons weren't released because of that.
It's crazy how progressive that show is, because I feel like it came out in the mid 90s, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it was in Japan from like the early 90s.
Yeah.
And I think it was like a comic in the 80s or something like that. But I guess that's just maybe like Japanese culture was way ahead of its time.
Yeah, in terms of social stuff, they
and stuff like that. And then North America, because like even at that time, you remember Ellen had her show get canceled after she came out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Man, the 90s were awful.
Yeah. They were. I love watching like old like talk shows or something like that, and they'll be talking about something like this, and then they'll be like, "It's 1997. Can you believe this is happening?" I'm like, "Yes, it's 1997."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as like, it's funny to go back to stuff like that, because like I have a VHS tape of the 1996 Grammys just randomly from my parents' place. And it's funny, the same, like, whenever someone's on there going like, "Guys, it's 1996. It's a different time. We gotta come together." And I'm like, "Oh, you poor saps."
You poor sap.
Is
that the one with Wu-Tang for the Children? Is that the?
No.
I don't know if it's.
No.
Is that the Grammy? Is that those Grammys? I don't know.
Wu-Tang for the Children sounds like a bit. That sounds.
You don't know that?
No.
I don't know if it was the MTV Awards or the Grammys, but essentially, Wu-Tang Clan did a speech or something. I can't remember exactly what they did. And one of them was like, "Wu-Tang is for the children," and something like that. And it became a very iconic line.
That's so sick.
One of the original memes, internet memes.
I was going to say, it sounds like a bit. It's an
original internet meme, I think.
So
because I think that was like people were sharing that on like AOL Messenger and the...
Oh yeah, back in the dial-up days.
In the dial-up days. I never had dial-up.
Really?
I never had dial-up. I do not remember anything about dial-up at all. I've had internet access since I would say 5, because my dad is a computer engineer.
Oh, damn.
So we had like computer set up in our room and all of that stuff, and I don't remember like that dial-up thing at all.
Yeah. Because I'm a little younger, so...
How old are you?
I'm 24.
Oh, you're 24. Okay, so you're a little younger.
Yeah. What are you?
By 4 years. By 3-4 years.
26, 27? I thought so. I came in right at the end of dial-up, because I have an older brother, and my dad's also a computer guy, so I was the same thing, like we always had computers around. So I remember, like, did you have a landline phone?
Yeah.
Do you remember having to get someone to hang up their phone so that you could use the phone?
I don't remember that at all.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Them having to hang up so you could use the phone. Yeah. I know that.
Yeah. That's what I more remember. Because I was a little too young to give a shit about dial-up.
Even
the phones thing.
Yeah. Even in high school, I remember. I didn't have a cell phone in high school at all. And I remember like trying to plan things with friends, and you'd have to like meet somebody at a specific location at a specific time, and if they didn't show up, you like couldn't do anything, so you'd have to use a payphone. But I remember sometimes I just like didn't want to go, so I wouldn't go, and then they would call me from my house. But oh my god, I remember so much shit like that.
Ghosting people was a lot more genuine back in the day.
It was just so much harder to plan things, I remember.
Yeah. Because it was that. It was like, especially when you were younger, so you'd like call your friend's house and you'd have to be like, "Hi, is John there?" And then they would have to give the phone to the kid, and then the kid would have to like, and then you'd have to plan to meet at the park, like this specific park at this time on this day.
Oh my god. Where's Max Park? Max Park, if you're ever watching this, you were the worst at that. The amount of times me and other Max tried to make plans with you, and then you say you would show up and then you wouldn't show up, and then Max would call your house and then your mom would be like, "Oh, Max just stepped out." And I was like, "This motherfucking bitch."
So you had a friend group with 2 Maxes?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I feel like the odds on that are astronomical.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. But what? Oh, fuck! I was okay. You were saying that your dad's a computer guy. Do you remember? So we used to go to Blockbuster.
Yep.
And we had a PlayStation at that time, and my dad knew how to have like modded it and all that shit.
Oh, okay.
So you could rent so he would rent all of the PlayStation games, burn them on his computer, and then give them to us.
Yeah.
Did your dad do that?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Nobody else.
It was sick. It was the best thing ever.
So amazing. I have the PlayStation downstairs and all of the games still.
You still have all the burned games?
I still have them.
That's so funny.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
My favorite game was Xena.
Oh,
Xena
damn.
There was a Xena game. I never beat it, but it was pretty fun.
I love hearing what people's favorite video games were, because they're either something like classic, that's like it's like Mario or Sonic or whatever, or it's something like really weird and obscure like the Xena game.
The Xena game was amazing.
They're like, I never beat it, and then, you know.
There's a part where you have to go to Hades because Gabrielle dies,
Oh my
and then
God.
you have to do this specific puzzle to beat this golem creature. And I've never got past that level because it's so hard. There was also a Garfield game for Sega that I had that I've never beat. Even when I like played it on a, what is it called, emulator, I still have not beat the first level. It's so hard.
Is it hard because it's like hard, or is it hard just because it's like an old shitty game?
It's hard because of both.
Oh man. Okay. I want to get the show started here. Speaking of the classics of having to start a YouTube video at the same time as someone that you're on a call with.
I like that. I've never done this before, actually.
Really?
This is futuristic to me. I've never watched anything with somebody online.
This was, when I was a kid, we had MSN. We had MSN Messenger. And, like, you would watch, like, the new music video or something. So you'd do that. You'd, like, everyone would be in a chat room. And then everyone would get ready and click at the same time. And we'd talk about it as it was happening.
We never did that.
Yeah, that was.
We never did that.
We were very uncool people when I was a kid. I was a dork.
You were a dork?
I was a dork. I mean, I don't know if you can tell. I'm still kind of there. I was a dork when I was a kid.
What was I like? I think I'm pretty much the same.
God, one of the all-time bangers of theme songs. With a crazy guitar solo.
Fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight. In the pain that comes to help fight, she is the one name. Or I'm gonna play for them. It's funny because this show, like people from my childhood, will still equate me with Sailor Moon.
Okay.
Because of how much I loved this show and talked about this show.
I honestly, because I remember it used to be on, I think, YTV. It was on all the time. So, but it was always out of order. Just like any anime that showed up on Canadian television, it was always out of order.
Yeah.
So I would watch it and I'd be like, I don't understand what's going on. This like weird, goofy show.
Yeah.
And then my brother, because he was a bit older, was more like on the internet side of it. So he discovered all these things about how it's like really like, you know, queer friendly and all these kinds of things, and like the dub and the sub and all these kind of things. And he told me about it and he was like, oh no, Sailor Moon's actually amazing. And then I remember I went to school and was like, Sailor Moon's amazing. And everyone was like,
you're gay.
Yeah, literally. What are you, gay? And I was like, oh.
It was just like, just because a girl. I remember, yeah, people hated me so much because I liked Sailor. I was a boy that liked Sailor Moon. It was like the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
It's like a sick ass amazing cartoon.
It's just a cool cartoon.
I remember watching its debut. Like I remember in 1995 sitting and watching the first episode, the first time it was released here, and just being like, this is the most amazing thing ever.
It is like, it's funny because like we talk about it how like, you know, I always make the joke that like every gay person has to watch Sailor Moon.
Oh no, I'm late for school again.
But like,
What?
it's just a cool cartoon. Other than
Yeah. Ben Sosa, do you know Ben Sosa, right?
that. No.
Okay, well, he's one of my good friends. He's a very funny comedian. He's not watched Sailor Moon, and it upsets me to this day. He never watched it.
Aren't you forgetting something, dear?
What?
I can't imagine a world where I haven't watched Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched those final episodes actually.
Do you remember, me either, do you remember when there would be like, okay, so remember like, there was like the Peekaboo rumor, where it was like, did you hear? So there was one with Sailor Moon that there was going to be like a Sailor Earth.
Okay.
And I remember my like across the street neighbor, when I would hang out with him, and he was like a teenager and I was like 3 or 4.
Did those creepy kids hurt you?
And we used to hang out and we would talk about Sailor Moon because he was like, quite obviously like a very gay teen.
Mm-hmm.
But how about
And I was just like a little gay child, and we had like a friendship.
Huh? Is that a
I miss David. I hope David's good. David, wherever you are, I miss you.
Oh, shout outs to David wherever you are if you're watching this show somehow. You
My
stumbled
grandmother's
on-
still very good friends with his mother.
Really?
But I haven't heard her.
I wonder if you could find him then. I wonder if you could
He's
like.
probably in like his 40s now or something.
Yeah, probably.
Serena, you need more studying and less.
I love this. I love this
Excuse for
like
failing this
classic
exam.
animation where the mouth just goes
How can that be? Have your mother sign this
like they're
and
like
return it to
puppets.
me.
Who was your favorite Sailor Scout?
Ooh.
Not like it's the end of the world or something.
Oh, wait, I'm gonna show you something.
If my mom finds out I flunked that
What do you think about this?
Okay.
my allowance, then I won't get to play the new Sailor V game.
Hey, Serena, I heard about
Guess what my favorite Sailor Scout was?
About as much as
Hmm.
a toothache. Such a dweeb
I'll
now.
say,
She doesn't need a
because
toothache.
mine, I
She's
think,
too old to get in
I
my
think it's
office.
Venus.
Tell your
Mine?
mother at my
I think mine is Venus. So I'm gonna say yours is
What's more important than your grades? Look, I didn't study and I only got a 95.
Mercury?
How will I ever be able to explain this to my parents?
Do we care?
Oh my God, you got it ready.
We're going shopping. By the time you get home, your mama will have forgotten all about that.
That's so good.
My friend bought me this for my birthday a couple years ago. It's still in the case, and I love Sailor Venus so much. I used to love Sailor Venus. I used to go home from school every single day when I lived by my school.
Yeah.
I would watch Sailor Moon and then come home. And I remember watching the episode where they met Sailor Moon, where Sailor Moon met Sailor Venus, and I was just like,
Sold. Done.
yeah.
Do you just keep that by you, or did you grab that specifically because we were doing this?
She's got lots of them and in lots of colors. Pink and purple. Oh, like for sure. All right.
Um,
More, let's go.
Serena, beautiful, but
Man.
a shopaholic.
poor kid just got shut down. Okay. So while we're watching, during the show, we like to talk using common conversation starters we find online and questions sent to us by social media. If you would like to send some questions for the podcast, you can do so by sending it to me at OldKingCake on any social medias. I read all the comments on YouTube as well, so if you have anything there, we take all questions. And if I like the question,
Queen
enough,
Beryl.
What?
Queen Beryl.
Literally the OG queen.
With her and her just like, that's all she did is the entire time.
Yeah.
Her mouth never really moved. That's all she did is work with a crystal ball.
The big
But-
lean is my favorite part. She's leaned back.
But I remember, do you remember she died? Like, in the original Sailor Moon, they straight up killed her. But then in the North American version, they're like, we sent her back or something like that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that they killed her. I remember the,
But they're
like,
just like, yeah, we killed that bitch.
she's
We
in the
done with
Shadow
her.
Realm or whatever.
But yeah, it was something like ridiculous like that. So I always was hoping that there would be like a Queen Beryl comeback. Like Queen Beryl would reappear, but it never happened.
I'm back, bitch. You can't kill me.
I miss her.
we all miss Queen Beryl.
Did you have the Sailor Moon dolls?
No, I didn't. My parents are very traditional,
I don't get it. Mine
so we weren't a doll household.
Oh, I had them. My dad got them for me. But then my dad became very like traditional. But I remember I had all of them, and then I was just like, I have them. How are they gonna fight in the world? So I remember I threw them all out the window because I was just like, go back. You need to go save the
You
world.
gotta save the world.
Yeah. I mean, I literally thought they were them. I'm sorry.
That's such a pure. It's a child thing, right? Like
Yeah.
we had wrestling figures when we were kids. That was our thing, and so we would like And back in the day, back in like the
That's
early
so
thousands,
homoerotic.
it is. It's very homoerotic. Back in the early thousands, the wrestling dolls kind of sucked. Like they couldn't move that much. So you had to get like you had to think about like how like, but in your head they're doing all the moves that you see on TV and like.
And then they made them like stretchy because they had like wires in them. I remember.
Now they're crazy. My little cousin has some wrestling dolls, and they have like you know, all of their joints can move any way you want. And they stretch and do all this crazy shit. It's wicked. Kids these days don't know how good they have it.
Damn.
They have like those little like motorized cars that they can drive around in. Those little like.
I wanted one of those so badly.
Me too. But only the rich kids had them.
My friend Tyreek, he had one, and when I would go visit Tyreek in Brampton, I think they live. I remember when he got it for his birthday, we rolled down the block, and we were rolling down the block, and he had a water gun, and he was just like, "Watch this." And then there was this family, this like nice white family coming out of their car, and he just starts spraying them with his water gun, and they just start screaming, and they're like, "Ah! Stop it! And they like lock themselves in the car. And then we just like pulled off, and I was just like, we fully did a drive-by on this.
I like those things don't go that fast, but their solution was to get back and lock themselves in the car.
But also, we were like three, like maybe 4 or 5-year-olds doing this, and they had such a like intense reaction. I remember that so vividly.
It's so funny. I love that that's their solution. Like, they're adults. They could have probably just shouted at you and the problem would have been solved.
No, but they, like, ran away. They were so scared. But it wasn't just, like, it was the parents. It was, like, the daughter. Like, it was, like, they were all older than us.
That's crazy.
Significantly.
It's funny what people's reactions are when they're just, like, you know, when they just get surprised and they're just like, oh, we don't know what to do. Back in the car.
Sure is cute.
Okay. Our first official question. Tuxedo Mask gets the clickety-click. I love Tuxedo Mask.
This show's so creepy.
It's so he's such a creeper, but I love him.
12 or something, and he's like 25 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, but I don't know. He just looks cool and he's funny. I was a simple kid.
If you're a cool 25-year-old, you can date 12-year-olds.
It happens, man. Welcome to anime.
This show is so problematic.
It's so problematic. If you now that we're adults, we can watch it and be like, oh, there's issues.
But I remember I was just like, I want that.
I just want a 25-year-old to swoop me up.
Mom's gonna blow a gasket when she sees this.
Our first official question. It's from ConversationStartersWorld.com, the unofficial sponsor of the show. What animal or insect do you wish we could get rid of? Just wipe off. Wasps. Just gone.
I don't like them.
So, how did you
They're terrifying.
algebra test?
Have you not heard of... I don't know. I had a whole wasp saga on my Facebook.
You had a wasp saga?
So what happened is I came into my room from the shower. I was like naked, and I sit on my bed and I hear this giant something like fly by me, like buzzing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is that? And then I look next to me and there's a giant wasp on the bed.
Oh Jesus!
And I didn't sleep in my room for 3 days.
Oh my God!
And I don't like wasps. I'm very scared of them.
Yeah. Okay.
And what happened is I ended up buying this giant mosquito tent and I put my bed inside of it, but then I broke it. But they sent me 2 of them. They accidentally sent me 2. So I have one in the closet that I'm going to eventually put to set it up. And then I also bought a beekeeping suit.
You bought a beekeeping suit.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of getting like a bug zapper or something.
Oh, I have one of those too.
You went full like.
I have one of those too.
You went full like Kids in Africa and got the tent set up and got the beekeeping.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
You're ready
You
for
want
the
war?
wasp apocalypse.
You want to bumble with the bee? Buzz. Throw a hex on the whole family. Dress it all black like an omen.
Holy shit.
Quoting Lil Kim.
Where do you stand on bees then?
I like bees. They're nice.
Yeah.
Like, bees are okay because they're, like, friendly, at least, and they only sting you when they have to, but they have, like, an actual job. Well, wasps are just, like, aggressive assholes.
Wasps are just freeloaders.
Yeah. They don't even make no honey.
Do you know
Bumblebees also make honey, but they make it different because, like, like regular honeybees, they make like honey cones.
Yeah.
Like those little things. Well, bumblebees make honey pots.
Oh.
And they live in the ground.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, and I watched the whole documentary on it. And how the bumblebee like finds a nest is they will like pull up on a like a mouse.
Okay.
Like a mouse that has like a burrow in the ground. And they'll just start stinging it and just like be like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
And they just roll up in his hood and they just
roll up and they steal the mouse's house. That's how fucking bumblebees roll.
Bumblebees don't fuck around. That's so funny. I didn't know that. Do you know? So in that documentary, did they say how bees kill wasps if a wasp tries to like?
Oh, I watched that documentary. I remember watching that documentary about the African hornet, or not the African, the what is it called? The murder hornets. I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah.
Their name. I remember watching that documentary. How they they swarm them and they all move their bodies.
Yeah, they vibrate and like cook the wasp until it dies.
I remember learning that and remembering that fact of like, ooh, at 450 degrees they die at. And then knowing that water, when it boils, it's 100 degrees.
Okay.
So I remember when I was a kid, we used to have this window, and in the summer, all these wasps would like congregate on this window. So I remember one day I was home by myself, and I was terrified to go to the kitchen sink, which is by that window because of the wasps.
Yeah.
So I was just like, huh. So I just like filled a pot with water, put it on the stove, wait till it got to boil, and then just threw it on the window.
Just dashed it on the window.
Just threw it on the window, killed them all.
Holy shit.
Oh
God.
We love Luna.
We stan Luna. I think we get our first. Did we get our first transformation in the first episode?
Yes.
My destiny? I must be dreaming.
This is your destiny. I met the person that did the voice of Luna.
Really?
Yeah, she came to speak to Humber. I think I have a recording of it somewhere on my old computer. Because I recorded her, like, she did the voice for us, and I was just like, oh, shit.
Freaking out. Oh, here we go. This is our first transformation. Oh. Another jam. I'll say it.
I feel like I'm in Transforming.
Yeah, right? It's
like I'm in the background. But I love that she's just like, whenever she did that, like she's just like, I'm transforming for just 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And she's like, a crazy thing is happening. I'm gonna transform for 2 minutes. And I'm like, evil guy, you had no chance to just juke her?
Yeah, the evil guys will just be sitting there like sword to her face, and she is like, 1 second. 1 second.
It's Molly.
Transform.
Yeah, but what can I do to help? You keep forgetting I'm just a kid.
You are Sailor Moon. You will know what to do when you look into
You are
your heart.
Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon.
I do miss this style of animation. I miss the hand-drawn animation. I hate all of the animation that I've seen now. I feel like it's so, well, I guess it is cheaply done, and that's why it is done like that.
Yeah.
Because I know that this was super expensive to do.
Yeah.
But did you know that, like,
this was like a huge show back in the day. Like the budget for Sailor Moon was crazy.
The animation for a lot of like these shows was done in Korea, but a lot of it was also done in Canada. Like I was reading this article and they talked about how for cartoons, the 90s was the golden age.
Yeah.
And most of the shit that they did was done in Canada.
Yeah, a lot of English dubs, specifically dubbing, was done in Canada because it was cheaper. Because you could pay Canadians like half as much as you paid Americans.
In Canadian.
Yeah, exactly. And like Canadians didn't give a shit. We were just like, we have an entertainment industry now.
YTV.
Yeah, literally.
YTV was so groundbreaking, and I'm sad that they're just like, I feel like they've lost a lot of their soul.
Yeah, it was cool when like, because back in the day it felt at least very grassroots. Like it was very independently run. They had these hosts who were just like doing whatever the fuck they wanted, and like now it's just reruns of SpongeBob.
It's funny because I thought Sailor Moon was set in my area.
You thought it was in Toronto?
I thought it was at Weston Road I thought it was on Weston Road in Lawrence, which is the hood. So I was just like, where's Sailor Moon at?
Where's Sailor Moon at? There's robberies going on. Where's Sailor Moon?
Where's Sailor Moon at? Because I remember there was like a shop that looked like this shop that they show in Sailor Moon, and I was just like, yo, that was where that happened.
That's for sure where that happened. What if you found out later that that's true?
I would be so happy. I'd be like, I knew it. I knew it. I also thought my grandmother was a spy, so who knows?
I like that. It sounds like you had a very like imaginative childhood.
I still am very imaginative, but I remember, I don't know, I think I did this in my mind, but I remember looking at my grandmother's watch, and like, I think it was just the reflection, but I remember seeing like trees or something in it of like outside, and I was like, this is a spy watch.
It's a spy watch.
She's a spy.
She's trying to save the world.
What is that gonna do? Just do
She could be. You never know. Shit like that's crazy. The things that people find out when they're like, 20, 30, 40, maybe your grandma's a spy.
Moon tiara magic.
Moon tiara magic. Good shit, Dubbers.
Dust. You've been dusted. I love that in my two favorite shows of my childhood, Buffy and Sailor Moon, all the bad guys turned into dust.
Oh. Who's your favorite Buffy character?
Dearly for this.
Buffy.
Yeah?
Or Dawn.
I was an Angel guy. I was an angsty, moody kid.
I've heard he's an asshole.
He's a huge asshole. He's like the worst character.
No, I've heard that he, like, the actor that plays him is like a huge asshole.
Oh, really?
I remember I was at something, and they told me that he was on some project with them, and he made the female director cry.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He looks like an asshole.
Bones.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you've seen him on Bones? He's just like the stern, like strong-jawed guy. I don't know. I think it's back to being a dork when I was a kid. He looks like a stern jock, and that intimidates me. So I feel like he's probably an asshole.
Intimidates you? What type of kid were you?
I was a really nerdy kid who liked sports, but I was fat. So like I would get bullied a lot, but I was good at basketball. So like they wouldn't pick me, but then you know how there was always like the jock team because the jocks picked the jock and they would be on the jock team, and there was the nerd team of all the people who didn't get picked. I'd be on the nerd team, just dunking, just like straight throwing threes.
Are you tall?
I am. I'm like 6. I'm 6'2".
I don't remember you being that tall.
I slouch because you know what it is? It's because I slouch a bit, and also when we were hanging out, I was already sitting down. I think when you showed up.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
So
6'2", damn.
I'm an above averagely tall dude.
Bye now.
Bye, Sailor.
I love that little like Sailor says.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That was another thing in '90s comics because like the Sonic comic had it, or cartoon had it, and Sailor Moon had it. They all had these little like PSAs: "Don't do drugs."
I honestly thought that this was set in my area because I'm seeing the ending now, and I remember I thought this was the Humber River, and
she's just chilling at Humber River.
you're just chilling at Humber River, just staring at a tree in the wind. In the wind.
Oh, okay. We've watched our first episode. I want to get to our question from social media.
Uh-huh.
If you could be any mythical creature, what would it be and why?
I would want to be like some sort of like magic like Pegasus unicorn because you can fly and you can like go into like different dimensions and like all this crazy shit.
I was sitting here thinking about what your answer would be, and unicorn was the first thing came to my mind. It's a very you animal.
Or like a shapeshifter, so you could like shift into like other things.
Ooh, you could be, and you gotta be all tricky.
like Mystique.
I was just thinking Mystique. That's so fun.
Something like that. Baby, I'm in your mind.
Talk to me quickly. Talk to me about Capricornication. Tell me about your album.
So Capricornication is my first comedy album. It is amazing. It has a crazy story. Like when I was going to record the album, like literally like I was leaving my house, my dog had like a medical emergency and then died.
Oh no.
And then I like literally had dropped him off at the hospital to like, because he was like still somewhat alive then, but he like died like when I left.
Oh my god.
And yeah, and then I remember finding out before the second show of the recording that he died, and I was just like, oh, what? But it was an amazing recording. It was one of my best performances of my life. I think it was because I was able to turn everything else off. And yeah, it's going to be released. It's going on pre-sale tomorrow on July 13th. This is when this is being recorded. Yeah. It is going to be fully released June, or did I say July? I meant June 13th.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fully released June 20th.
Okay.
It is the first comedy album release ever released by a gay Black Canadian. 100% of the proceeds are going to Black Lives Matter Toronto and these two charities called Soy Toronto and Two Spirits, and they do work with the LGBTQ2S Black and Indigenous peoples of Toronto and stuff. And yeah, they're 100% of the album sales are going to go to that, and my label's also matching them. So if you buy it, they're getting matched. So yeah,
that's huge.
We got to do some work.
Yeah,
some work to do.
Where can they find it? Is there like a website?
They can find it on all of the streaming platforms.
Okay.
There's going to be a website, because if you buy it directly from the website, none of those like Apple or whatever will take any cut of it.
Yeah, that's
if you
what
buy it directly from the website, all of that money will go into like this account, and then that will be what we use to donate.
Awesome. So Capricornication. So as you guys outside here are listening to this, it's going to be going on sale this week. You said June 20th? Or it's going to be released June 20th?
It's going to be released June 20th. You can buy it. You can buy it on pre-sale June 13th.
Starting on the 13th. So by the time you're watching this, I want you to close out of the video. I want you to go get the album.
I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link.
Back. I'm going to put the link in the description for sure. Yeah. The link will be in the description below. I want you to close out what we're doing here, and I want you to go listen to the album. We've had a lot of fun here. We watched the first episode of Sailor the Moon. We discovered your fear of wasps and how you did a drive-by in a
water gun drive-by.
God, I think that's the funniest thing. Yeah. So the end of the show, we do what's called a lightning round. So I'm going to put 1 minute on a timer.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you as many yes or no questions as we can get through. Yes or no, this or that.
Let's do it.
To see if we've truly become best friends.
Venus! Crystal power!
Okay. I've got my timer ready. I got my questions up. In 3, 2, 1. Cookies or cake?
Cake.
Cats or dogs?
I like both.
Ooh, okay. Computer games or video games? Computer games or console games?
I like console games.
Pop music or rock music?
Pop music.
Stuffed animals or dolls?
Dolls.
Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Yes. Hot chocolate or coffee?
Hot chocolate.
Morning or evening?
Morning or evening? I will say evening.
Text message or call?
Text message.
Library or museums?
Oh, I love libraries.
French or Spanish?
I don't know. Spanish.
Summer or winter?
I like summer better.
Theater or cinema?
Both. I like both.
Ooh, okay. Love or money?
Both.
Both. You can't say both for everything. What a cop-out.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tabulate the scores. While we're doing that, let the people out there know where they can find you on all kinds of social media and what you're doing.
So you can find me on my new social media handle is Bam Comedy 1. I literally changed it at the beginning of this episode.
That is true.
Because it used to be Barack Obama 1, but nobody have hard times tracking that. So yeah, it's Bam Comedy 1, as in the number 1, the numeral 1.
Perfect. You said dolls, waffles. Man, it's funny. I have this list of questions, and again, it's off a website. If anyone wants to find out, it's lifehacks.io/this or that questions. And the only one I really give a shit about, I'll be honest with you, is pancakes or waffles. That decides in my mind immediately.
I love waffles.
I love waffles, man. Pancakes can get the fuck out. Waffles all the way. Brandon, it's been a great show. I want to thank you.
Thank you so much.
I want to thank you right now for coming on the show. It's been a bunch of fun. I hope you've had as much fun as I have.
I had so much fun.
We have tabulated the final score. You are at 4 out of 11 answers matched, which, while it may seem like a low score, at the end of the day, I think what we've proven is that people who have different likes, dislikes, and opinions can hang out and have a good time.
We can be friends. You don't need to be the same.
Exactly.
The same thing. That's boring and also weird.
And I think that's a beautiful thing. So if we ever hang out, you can get hot chocolate, I can get coffee, and we can both get waffles, because waffles are the
I
only
like
important
iced
answer.
coffee, but I like it very milky. But yeah.
Oh, I drink
really-
black coffee.
Ooh, he loves black.
Right into my veins.
Uh-huh.
I want to thank my new best friend, Brandon Ash-Mohammed, for being on the show.
Thank you, new best friend Cole.
And I want to thank all my best friends out there in the podcast world for listening. However you get the podcast, on YouTube, on SoundCloud, however you choose to do it. Give it a like, give it a share, give it a comment, share with all your friends. It helps the show grow. Remember that you can get questions on the show. We love getting questions from social media, at either sending it to me directly at OldKingCake on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you find me, or in the YouTube comments down below. I also want to give a special shout out to Isabel Wing for the intro to our podcast, Let's Be Best Friends, and Seth Feldman for the outro.
Ooh.
And that's all the time we have for this week. So remember, your mom was your best friend at one point, so give her a call, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.